All right, what's up, everybody? TexAgs Rewind on a Thursday. Got the guys from the fan show here to help me close a show that was full of news and full of guests. We had Texas A&M safety signee Myles Davis. We had Billy Liucci come on. Then he left the show to break news. Then he came back to talk about the Aggies hiring Jay Bateman as their new defensive coordinator. Logan Lee talking basketball. Aaron Torres talked all things college football. And then these guys helped me wrap it up with just the state of affairs around college football and in College Station. And we talked a little bit of holiday season. And, Roy, you eat what?
It's chili cheese dogs on Christmas Eve. It's a tradition that dates way back to – it was Christmas Eve. We had just PCS to a new location. We were trying to set up – we had like 2 days to move in, set up Christmas, do everything. And we blew through all our money setting up Christmas. And it was like Christmas Eve, and we're getting ready to sit down and, open up your Christmas pajamas and, read the Christmas story out of the Bible, story of Jesus' birth. And I was like, we have nothing to eat. I just looked in the fridge and we had chili cheese dogs. And so we were in San Diego, so I was like outside grilling in shorts on Christmas Eve. And it just kind of stuck. And so it's just kind of a tiny little family tradition with Megan and me and Kira. And yeah.
That's pretty cool. You have any food traditions for the
tamales
holiday?
on Christmas Eve.
Tamales?
Mm-hmm. We eat Swedish meatballs.
That's pretty cool. We do gumbo.
There you go. Gumbo sounds good.
We need to do a potluck Christmas Eve.
We'd have a good time.
All right, here's the rewind. How have you grown from really that game to where you are now as a senior and getting ready to come to A&M?
Junior year to senior year, it was, for me personally, it was like a big flip. It was more of a plays being there for me. Junior year, as senior year, is more of me making plays, just knowing what I did last year. It seems more of game planning against me, so having to just make plays on my own and just trying to create stuff for my own teammates at the same time too. I mean, it was a big difference, but I mean, I felt like just going into that season, I kept the same workout routine and I did everything the same, and I just felt I got better, more confident, more faster. Things slowed down. I mean, you're a senior, so you automatically feel better than everybody.
And you commit to Texas A&M in the summer. Obviously, the Aggies go through the coaching change. You kind of looked at maybe visiting some other places, but in the end, you come back to Texas A&M with Mike Elko and you sign. What was it, man, about, take the football out of it. What was it about Texas A&M and College Station that drew you in?
I don't know, something about College Station. It's just a good home vibe to me. It was from my first visit. My first visit really left a great impression, even though it really didn't start off that well because it rained, but it just left a piece, I don't know, it just sat right in my heart. So honestly, it was somewhere I could really call home, whether it had football in it or not.
And then the coaching change, and where was your mind at whenever they decided to move on from Jimbo Fisher, and where were you at in terms of your thinking at that moment?
It was pretty crazy. I remember I woke up from my hotel and I saw the news, but I didn't think it was real. And I still thought it was Saturday for some reason. Then I realized what all happened. I kind of just called up a bunch of the guys who was there, like Dalen and Terry. We all came to my room. We just really started talking and really just sharing what was on our mind and how we felt about it.
What do you got for us on Jay Bateman, the hire? What do you know about him? I mentioned in the last segment a history with Mike Elko at Richmond, and obviously a guy that understands what Coach Elko wants to do on that side of the football here in College Station.
That Richmond staff, pretty interesting when you start digging in. That staff not only had Mike Elko, their head coach at Texas A&M, it had Jay Bateman, the now defensive coordinator at Texas A&M. It had the current defensive coordinator of the Las Vegas Raiders, and now that name slipped in my mind, and also had Florida State defensive coordinator Adam Fuller. So you start to trace, when you know that A&M reached out and shot a flyer there towards Tallahassee early in the process, you start to trace and see what Mike Elko was looking for. He was looking for, I think the word you said a second ago, familiarity. He was looking for someone that was like-minded in how they attack offenses and what they're going to do defensively. And a big part of the reason why is because, like he said yesterday, it's going to be a Mike Elko defense. It's going to be a Mike Elko, Jay Bateman defense. those things are almost exactly the same in terms of not how Bateman will call the game on Saturdays, but just in terms of philosophy, scheme, approach to attacking offenses. And yes, he's going to be the one calling games on Saturdays. So Elko needed a very high level of trust that they're, again, like I said, the word like-minded, that they're going to be attacking in a way that Elko believes in and knows works. So again, Mike Elko defense led by Jay Bateman and called on Saturdays by Bateman, which from talking to Elko is very important to him. You know, he wants to be able to be a head coach on Saturdays and not be in the weeds and distracted by other things.
I mean, I think it's fine. Listen, you know, we're caught in this weird in between where we've brought in a bunch of new rules, but it's clearly, you know, under the construction of the past. You know, it's almost like putting a couple new coats of paint on an old house that you know you need to just knock down and build up again. And so, listen, whether we like it or not, you know, we're headed towards a world of super conferences. We're headed towards a world, frankly, where players are probably employees of the university. And I don't think it's what any of us grew up with, but I think it's kind of what we need. I mean, you even go back to signing day yesterday, you know, you hear stories about, you know, Jeremiah Smith committing, but he doesn't sign his paperwork because they're trying to squeeze the school for a couple more bucks of NIL. I get that this is the new world, but, you know, I think we need to get to a place where there's salary structure. You know, I don't know about cutting players. I don't know how I feel about that, but where we are is not sustainable. And I don't mean from a money perspective. I just mean from a wild, wild west perspective of players coming and going as they please. Anytime anybody can get what they want, they're suing for something. So the sport is always great. The on-the-field product is always great. But we are caught kind of between the way we did things and the way we're going to do things in the future. And unfortunately, it's kind of a little bit of a middle ground right now.
You know, Aaron, I don't know if you know this, but I make my hay as a recruiting analyst. So I'm involved in a lot of this. I know you do, man. You do a great job. I appreciate that. I'm involved in the day-to-day, and I see this stuff happening and unfolding. And
so do you agree with me, like with the NIL and everything?
I think it's a house of cards. And I don't know how it's coming down. Yeah. I don't know when it's coming down, but I do think it's coming down. I don't know what the gust of wind will be that will undercut it all. But it's just, to me, it's untenable in the state that it is right now. We've gotten to a point where it's pay for play.
This is the crazy thing. No matter who they're playing, who the Aggies are playing, I think they have a chance to win.
Well, they just showed you that going to Houston and playing UA.
They have a chance to win every game. The problem is they have to have multiple people show up. It's not just a last year Alabama that has Brandon Miller and he shows up and he takes over a game. Mm-hmm. Wade can take over a game, but like against Houston, he needed a little bit of help. Mm-hmm. He nedes that help.
Who was their second highest score in that? It was like 7 points. Was it Jace Carter?
I don't know.
Keep talking. I'll figure it out.
Wade can take over a half. He hasn't shown to take over an entire game just yet this year. And I say this year. Last year he did, but this year's different because all of the defenses are focused on him. And so with the defenses focused on him, he hasn't had 40 minutes of dominance. He's had 25 minutes. He's had maybe 27 minutes.
Wade can win you a game.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's going to win you games. Like, they're going to have more. Like, Wade can take over tonight, and, like, if a couple things go differently at the Toyota Center, Wade wins that game against
Absolutely.
UH. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But I don't know that Wade's going to win you a lot of games without, like, Jace Carter and Hayden Hefner had 7. If they get to 12, if you get Boots back and he's just somewhat normal, you know, how many boards did Henry Coleman have the other night? 12?
But that's the thing, though. And it's not a knock on Wade because that's how this team is built.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah.
Buzz builds his teams to win by committee. There's not a one and done guy that you throw him the ball and say, go win us the game.
Yeah.
Like that's not what it's about. This is a win by committee, and not only is it a win by committee, it's win by offense and defense. It's not they have such stellar offense that they don't have to play defense. No.
All right, gentlemen, tell them what to do before Christmas.
Well, don't be an OU fan.
Yeah. My gosh, they're horrible.
We didn't even get to that on the show. Don't even search it.
I missed it,
it's
and I'm not
brutal.
going
Completely
to, 'cause
over the
Bronny
line.
said not to.
The trailer park mafia is going crazy.
But what y'all should do, and it would be a Christmas gift to Liucci and all those guys upstairs, make sure you subscribe, comment, share it.
And click the notification bell so you never miss another TexAgs Rewind.
I don't even have to do anything. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in.